Welcome to Stir Up Your Purpose channel, and thanks for stopping by. I believe you are having a great day wherever you are around the world. Today, I would like to share the work of Mary S. Watts. If you love the absolute or infinite way teaching, then you would definitely like our material. I will be sharing from a book or seminar titled 3 Essential Steps. In particular, the question and answer bit of the material. Those were questions that were presented at the end of the first session she gave. I find those questions and answer sessions illuminating. This enables you to get clarity on the material. And if you are new to the absolute or the ultimate, as Mary refers to it, it is all about realization of oneness with God. This can be a rude shock to the puny human mind, but when we are willing to let go of that mortal mind and contemplate the words coming through, we open up and allow our true essence to express itself in a beautiful way. In this video, I will be sharing 2 of those questions, and my AI assistant, Francis, will do the asking, and I'll read the answer given by Mary Watts. Over to you, Francis.
Do you believe in deep meditation? If you do, how long should this meditation continue?
You will notice that in my writings, the word meditation is rarely used. This is also true in my classwork and in interviews. While I do occasionally use this word, I rarely prefer the word contemplation. When I became aware of the fact that I was increasingly saying contemplation instead of meditation, I questioned as to just why this should be true. Turning to Webster's dictionary, I found the following definition: meditation, act of meditating, close or continued thought. And a wonderful definition of the word contemplation is act of viewing steadfastly and attentively. In studying the various definitions of these words, I discovered that it is possible to use them interchangeably. But for the most part, there is a definite difference in the semantics of the 2 words. For instance, close or continued thought involves a thought process. This thought process in turn involves reasoning. Viewed in this light, the word meditation is misleading, for that which takes place in the glorious silence of the true enlightened perception. Actually, a process of thought has to do with the so-called human mind. It is not until this misrepresentation of mind is completely obliterated that God, mind, consciousness is realized. The mind that is God does not think, it knows. Thinking implies time, and thought process will require time in which to arrive at some given point or conclusion. The one and only mind is not a thinking mind. I rarely use the word mind except in referring to intelligence. The act of viewing steadfastly and attentively is something else again. This is exactly what takes place in silent contemplation. We do not think our way into this ultimate silence. Rather, we become full open to revelation This complete opening of consciousness is only attained through the absolute certainty that of ourselves we are nothing, can do nothing, know nothing, be nothing. When this complete unselfed awareness is realized, we can then know that we are in the silent contemplation. Our entire attention is engaged in viewing steadfastly the glorious, changeless perfection that already is all existence. Indeed, I do believe in this kind of contemplation. I cannot speak of time in connection with this experience. Sometimes it may be what the world will call a matter of moments. Yet, to me, it is eternity itself. Sometimes I remain in this contemplation hour after hour, throughout the day and night. Yet to me, it is but a second. So you see, there really is no time element in genuine contemplation. It is possible for one to go about his daily affairs, meeting and talking with others, and yet remain in this illumination. You move about and you listen and you answer, yet none of these things move you. You are untouched by everything that pertains to a so-called human world. This is not an abnormal experience. On the contrary, it is the only normal experience. For those who meet you and talk with you, there is no change. Oh, they generally remark upon how well or how happy you look, but they are only seeing the illusory picture of you while you are viewing them and everything as it really is, rather than the way it appears to be. Now, you may be questioning something like this: but what shall I do if I am seeking light on some particular problem or situation? Dear friends, there is only one way to perceive the light on a specific situation. Eliminate completely the little self-important I. Be full open with no reservations. Let the mind that is God reveal itself to be your only mind, your only consciousness. This is truly being that mind that was in Christ Jesus. Everything takes place in and as God. If there is some specific subject upon which you are seeking light, it is well to begin to question about that particular subject. Right now, I must emphasize that it is futile to ask any question unless you listen for the answer. Actually, the listening is more important than the questioning. The questioning only serves to focus your attention upon that particular subject. Always know that the answer to that specific question already exists. If it didn't, it will never occur to you to ask the question. What you really are doing is simply opening your consciousness completely for the revelation of the already existing answer to that distinct question. Where does the answer exist? Right where the question was asked. The answer exists right here and now in as your consciousness. Remember, there is only one consciousness. One consciousness that can be conscious as your consciousness. You could not be conscious as a consciousness in which the answer to your question is absent. Sometimes the answer to your specific question will not be revealed immediately. Again, you may have to ask this specific question over and over again. But rest assured of one thing, the answer will be revealed. You will know it to be true with a solid conviction. Just don't try to answer your own questions by thinking, reasoning, or straining for the answers. It won't work. You have open consciousness for the answer to that question. Listen silently until the answer is clear or until you realize the beautiful peace that assures you that all is well and that you need have no doubts or reservations about the answer. Having done this and experienced this, just leave it right there. The answer may come when you least expect it, perhaps in a few minutes, hours, or even days, but it does come. This leads us directly into the next question that was left after the last session. It was,
who asks the question? What answers the question?
This is a wonderful question. It shows just how far we have expanded in this consciousness. The word questioning is simply another word for opening. When we question, we are just focusing our attention on that particular aspect of existence which concerns us at the moment. This is the only importance of the question. The focusing of our attention reveals the answer that is already present in our own consciousness. Why do we ask a specific question? Because the answer to that specific question is insisting upon revealing itself right then. Remember, if the answer were not already an eternally established fact, the question would never have been asked. For instance, if it were not already an eternally established fact that 2 plus 2 equals 4, no little school child will ever ask the question of what 2 plus 2 equals. So we must always remain aware that the answer already exists in our consciousness. We use the word question because we have to have words. Even so, realize that all that is taking place is that the answer is already announcing its presence. We never ask a question of a God outside of or other than our own self. Listening for the answer is the opening of consciousness in order that the answer may reveal itself. No one will ever be impelled to ask a question unless he knew the answer to that question was already included in his own consciousness. You know, we have had this thing all turned around. It has seemed that the question came first and was necessary before the answer was realized. Actually, the answer is first, last, and always. And the question only occurs because the answer is and is as omnipresent as is God itself. Of course, you know that no answer is ever revealed from a God outside your own being. When I first began to ask questions, it seemed to me that I was asking the questions of God as though He were something outside of myself. Presently, I became aware that the answers were not coming from outside of myself at all. I came to realize that the answers were presenting themselves from within my own consciousness, even to the point that when the answer would be audible, it would be my voice. Yet, I had no awareness of having spoken. It was not the voice of Mary Watts, yet I would know that it was the I that I am speaking. End of questions. In conclusion, I would like to go back to that statement about seeking light on some particular problem or situation. If you have made a conscious and deliberate choice to toe the path of the infinite way, of the absolute way of life, it is important to always, and I repeat, to always remember that there is only one way to perceive the light on any specific situation. Eliminate completely the little self-important I. Be full open with no reservations. Let the mind that is God reveal itself to be your only mind, your only consciousness. This is truly being the mind that was in Christ Jesus. Everything takes place in and as God. God is not in the business of fixing issues or problems, but in the business of revealing truth where you stand. And as you abide in this truth, also remember not to bother about the how. When truth reveals itself, it happens naturally. And don't second guess yourself when it reveals itself, for you might miss the mark if you think it will happen in a particular way. I can tell you that with my over 3 decades of personal development and going to 6 decades on this side of eternity, it is very easy to miss the mark. What I mean by this is that we might unintentionally walk away from the answer and chase shadows, only to find out years later that truth had made the solution possible, but we missed it because we were fixated on it happening in a particular way. Bye for now and have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching.